So, can we just talk about how Katarina, our main female character, is just like one of the chattest female characters of an anime in a very long time? Like, she legitimately is so immensely dense that she is able to actually win over all of the original route main male characters, but on top of that, get her way into routes that didn't even exist in the main game with the female characters. It's honestly just impressive. It is just super impressive, and I'm just like, she is straight up flirting with these characters. Like, what she did with Sophia, I think that's her name, in this episode, she was straight flirting with her. Like, she was like, oh, your hair is like silk, let me touch it, and all that, which is like, Katarina, that's literally flirting. That is nothing like, oh, let's be friends or anything. She's like, let me touch your hair. And I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, she's just, holy crap. So, can we just talk about that? She legitimately is just, like, seducing every character in the story. Not just male characters, but females. Like, literally Mary, Sophia, Alan, all the main male characters and female characters are literally being seduced by her. And when the whole dance happened and all that, it wasn't, her lining up to dance with someone because she wanted to dance with someone. Every individual character wanted to dance with her, even the female characters. And I'm just like, holy crap. Like, our Katarina, like, I don't really think you're gonna really have to worry too much about a doom flag at the end, because, I mean, with everything that has been stated so far, you have to royally mess up completely to be able to have an exile ending or end up alone or dead. Like, at this point, I don't know how anyone in Katarina's position could really end up like the villain did within the game. I mean, think about this. Let's look at this with logic right now, okay? If we look at everything that Katarina has done thus far since episode 1 to where we're at now in episode 3, she has legit turned around all these characters' lives and made them much happier and made them just have joy in their life. And on top of that, she has taken the role of what the main female character is supposed to do of the game. She's said lines and made people that weren't even really a main part of the story actually come out of their shell and be a lot better, like Sophia and, the brother and all that. So I really appreciate the fact that, we're getting to see her slowly helping everybody in this world, but she thinks that she could still potentially die, when I don't really think that's possible at this point. I think history has definitely been changed. The only way that something can happen would have to be with the main female character that was supposed to do all the things that Katarina did, which I'll get into that in a second, but she has helped her, her stepbrother by getting him out of that self-loathing and allowing him to actually see the light and be open to people and have a happy life, not be bullied. You have it to where, she helped out the brother of her fiance and how he didn't feel like he was worthless or, I guess, inferior to his brother. And, also she helped out Mary and helped her open up and all that and have friends. And then we also have now Sophia and how she's not looked at as a monster and isolated and how she's actually has a friend to talk to about books and stuff she likes. So, I mean, all these characters, all these individual characters that, Katarina is, interacting with, she is helping their life out, making them into better people, and they're wanting to actively interact with her. They're not just being forced to interact with her because of royalty and noble status. They're wanting to interact with her because she is just fun to be around. So, like I said, I truly doubt there is really any possible way for her at this point to really have like a doom flag, like, oh, getting exiled or, straight up dying. The only way now, which I'm going to get into now, is if the main female character of the game that's supposed to do all what Katarina's doing, what she was supposed to do, if she is a villain character. See, that is a big flip that this story can do. Because think about this. I mean, when you really think about, the main characters of any game, let's say a visual novel, romance novel, whatever, okay? Usually, if it is a self-insert character, like you're inserting yourself into that character to make decisions, especially in a visual novel, you're creating that character's personality. Hear me out, okay? And so if you're creating this character's personality, you can make that character good, bad, whatever. You can say what you want, what decisions you want to make. But here's the question. What is that default personality of said character? For instance, if you hypothetically never played that character, okay, and the character somehow got to live their life without you dictating their options and choices, what would that character be? What would they do? How would their personality be? Would they just be an empty shell? Would they be a good person still, like how the game was? Or would they be something much more vile? There's so many questions you could gather from that question alone. You're like, wait, that does make sense. Like, if you're always the one dictating the options for a said character within a game, how would they be if you weren't dictating them? So, the question is the main female character of the story that wasn't supposed to be Katarina, is she actually a bad person? If she's a bad person, then we actually have an antagonist that could try to ruin Katarina's life. For instance, she tries to, remove her from the picture, get with these other boys and girls, have friend group and all that with them, and rip them away from Katarina, which forces Katarina into, like, isolation. I can definitely see that being a major plot point of the story. And if so, that's very fascinating. Just, that sounds really unique, honestly. Having a main character that's supposed to be good and have a good ending turn out to be the main obstacle and enemy to what supposedly is the villain. And when you really do think about it, it's actually kind of, I guess, it's self-aware, because when you really think about villains and, like main characters or protagonists and antagonists, technically the antagonist is technically the protagonist of their life, and their antagonist or villain is the main character. So, honestly, it really fits. Even if Katarina, from our perspective, is a good person, at the end of the day, technically the main female character of the story is the enemy, and vice versa. So that's interesting to think about, but I do think, though, that this is probably going to lead down the route of her being the main obstacle, because at this moment, Katarina has just made everyone her friends. I just don't think they're going to turn against her unless someone starts to stir up drama to make her look really bad. But okay, let's talk about other things. So one of the big details I want to talk about is especially the scene with the Yuri stuff and the book reading and all that. So Katarina actually went out of her way to find an individual that actually likes to read books or romance novels like herself. And pretty much Sophia is a straight-up otaku. She is someone that is into anime and manga. Like, for instance, if she was in the modern era, she would be someone that's into anime and manga. But obviously, since they're in medieval times and, fantasy medieval times, she's just going to be reading novels. But the point, though, is that Katarina is able to interact with someone that has a same wavelength to her. For instance, a similar hobby, not just, let's say, making a farm or whatever, like how Mary is, but she is able to discuss this with someone that likes books. And I understand that happiness completely, being able to talk to someone about something you love. It's one of the big reasons why I'm doing YouTube. Like I've said many times in the past, one of the big reasons why I even decided to start a YouTube channel in the first place was because I wanted to be able to express my love for anime and manga, because I love it so much. I love discussing it. I love expressing my passion for series that really catch my eye, and I want to share it with others and discuss it with others. And what Katarina is going through, or what she was going through, I fully understand that. I feel that emotion. I understand that emotion, and I think many that are watching this series understands that emotion completely, even if it's not maybe for anime and manga. But there's probably something in this world that you're truly into, be it cars, Legos, sports, making clothing, whatever. There's something in this world I know many of you love deeply, and because of how much you love it, you would love to be able to talk to someone about that hobby of yours or something you're interested in, gaming or whatever. And I think that's it's very relatable, and it makes me appreciate this episode because of how relatable it is. Katarina is a very relatable character. Her wants and needs are something that I think I can be behind. I understand what she wants. And another thing too I really do like about this episode, I think that's pretty cute, honestly, and I notice it's becoming a reoccurring gag, is that Katarina really loves to eat. She loves eating sweets, and she gets kind of sick because she eats so much, and I find it hilarious because this is the second time that's happened in 2 episodes, and I do think that this is probably going to be a reoccurring thing, that she's going to be eating, get sick, and I feel like eventually this might lead into an actual drama situation down the road, if the writer wants to go that route. I could definitely see Katarina eating too much, or someone maybe, for instance, the main female character like talked about earlier, she's actually a bad person, maybe poisoning the food or making Katarina sick, where she actually froze up, or, has some form of problems within, an active community, like in a ball or a dance or whatever, which results in her embarrassing herself and looking really bad. I could definitely see, maybe that playing into some major plot point in the future. I could be wrong, but that is definitely a possibility with just how many times it's popped up in a comedy fashion, like a comedic fashion, these past 2 episodes. But okay, is there anything else left to really talk about? Don't think so. I think overall I covered everything that needed to be covered, besides the time skip. Obviously, there has been a time skip. Katarina has now moved up to the point where she's about to participate in the school where the game actually starts. So we're about to be introduced to the main character of the game. So I'm excited for that. We're probably going to get introduced to her in the next episode. I'm curious where the story's going to go, because it's really going to lay down the foundation of what to really expect from my next life as a villainess going forward for the remainder of the series airing. But I want to leave it at that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below. Because for some reason, even if you click the subscribe button, you don't always get notified. So if you want to get notified, hit that bell icon. And with that, Chibi out.